Welcome to Irrigation Wars. Quick note before I start, all the footage in this video was shot in late August 2020. It's now mid-October. We had a windstorm September 8th, and I've spent the last 5 weeks cleaning up the damage from that windstorm. Lost about 4 trees, and also the damage to my roof after displaced raccoons tried to find a new nest and tore my shingles apart on my roof. So I've been up there fixing that stuff. So full disclosure that there are some trees in this video that are no longer standing, and I'll share a link to a video that shows that damage at the end of the video.
Yeah, so when I last checked in, I had just finished the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th zones, and then I took a little time off, and so now I'm back at it, and I've pretty much finished installing zones, what is that, 6? So 7 through actually 13. My zones 11, 12, and 13 are all drip zones, so I'm not actually installing those, but I am putting the valves in for those and wiring it. And next year I'll put those in. I just wanted to get the sprinklers in. I've got all the sprinklers heads in for my zones. What was that? So that would be 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm gonna do some testing today now that I've got them all in, and it's just been a lot of repetition of things I've already covered in the videos, but I figured for the sake of completeness I would show the rest of the yard being finished without the monotony of the tasks like installing a sprinkler head or running the poly. I've already done a ton of videos on that stuff, or a bunch anyway. So anyway, I'm going to start testing my sprinkler zones, and I'm pretty excited because once these are done, I can just bury everything, put the boxes around the valves, and have a life again. So let's move on to doing some testing. Really, really exciting stuff, I know. All right, so as a refresher, I've got my main coming in here, and then it feeds through here. It goes this way into my backyard, and then it goes around the back to the zones down here that I've already done, and then it's going to go up the hill. So I haven't tested 7, 8, 9, and 10. They're all up the hill. So we're going to go do that right now. And I got to turn a ball valve on to let the main fill up all the way to the valve box that's up by that shed, and then we're going to manually test each one of my zones. We're going to see how we did. So far I've had success, so nothing hopefully nothing bad will happen now, and we'll continue to have success. All right, so this is the ball valve I need to turn on. So what I've got to do now is I have my drip valve box is right over on the other side of the stairs there. That I'm not going to activate till next year, but I'm going to wire it. And then I put a ball valve in here, so if I have any issues, I can isolate the different valve boxes and I can still run all the other stuff. So what I got to do now to fill the main is I just got to crack this guy, and you can actually hear the water start to flow, so it'll start going up to the top valve box up here. And now we're going to go up there and we're going to start testing my last 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, last 4 zones. Pretty exciting for me. Yeah, make sure your spigot's closed before you turn the main on, or else you get a waterfall. All right, so I'm testing my zone 7 right now without the booster pump, and you can see it's just a trickle. And I'm pretty sure, and all my heads are like that, there's a head right over there, there's one over there, and I think the issue is that I'm coming uphill and the secondary water doesn't really have a high PSI. It's only at like 20, so I don't think it's quite strong enough to drive it. So instead of testing all of them, because it's going to be coming uphill for all of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a minute, I'm going to wire them at the timer, and then I'm going to use the timer, turn the boost pump on, and see if we can drive these suckers. So stay tuned.
Daniel's traveling tonight on a plane. I can see the red tail lights heading for Spain. Oh, and I can see Daniel waving goodbye.
Alrighty, so I got zone 7 running with the booster pump. Everything's wired, and I am way over what I expected as far as coverage. I'm gonna have to put some smaller, what are those things called? Nozzles in there, and tone that down a little bit, but we definitely have plenty of coverage. This yard will get saturated. This zone specifically, it's important because this is in the sun all day. It just roasts. So we're on our way. So I'm going to go test a couple more zones. This is fantastic because if I get 7, 8, 9, and 10 done, all I got to do is bury them, and boom, I'm done with this nonsense. All right, so now I got my zone 8 and it's fired up with the booster pump, and I got plenty of coverage. Everything's kind of spraying all crazy right now because they're not set. I didn't set the heads so they're spraying in the direction they're ultimately gonna, and none of them are buried, so they're all kind of at weird angles. But this is success. We're nearing the end. I'm gonna go test zone 9 now. Alrighty, I got my zone 9 working. I got a head right here. I'm getting a little wet. I got a head there. You can kind of see it right here. I got a nice little rainbow going. So zone 9 is a success. I'm out of breath because I'm running back and forth to my timer. So now we got one more zone to test, and I can say if it's successful that I absolutely dominated this yard. Just dominated. It was really unfair. Alright, so my zone 10 works, but it's a little low pressure and I wasn't really quite sure why. And I realized I only have 3 heads on this guy right now. And what's going to happen is eventually I'm going to put some over there, but I got a waterfall over there. I ended up putting a plug in it and I'm going to extend it eventually, and I might have forgotten to put a clamp on it. So the pressure that's I'm losing over there is making the heads over here, they're not shooting as far as they will once I fix that mess. So yeah, I dominated the yard, and up until this point. Anyway, I'll fix that, but for the moment, all 10 zones are essentially done. The drips will be done next year. I'll go plug that guy up and get it fixed, and then I'm going to bury the heads, and then once everything's said and done, I'm going to do a walkthrough of the entire system and just show what I did, and that'll be the end of this series, most likely. Very sad day. Okay, so the reason we had a waterfall over here was we are running a pipe underneath this concrete, and eventually we're going to, next year, along with the drip system that we're going to put in, we're going to add a couple more heads on my zone 10. We're going to add 2 or 3 through here, but we really didn't feel like trenching through this year, and it gets decent water. It's in shade because of these giant spruce trees that are all back here, so I didn't worry about it. But my assistant was supposed to put a plug in the end and clamp it on, and apparently this one slipped through the cracks. We just put plastic and rubber bands over it while we're working to keep any critters from getting in there, and that was all that was stopping all that water from the zone 10 from coming through. It was just got a little hole in it, and it was just shooting through the hole. So I'm going to tear that off now. We're going to clamp it down, and that zone will work as good as it was intended to. And then all we got left is we're going to bury these 4 zones and then test the whole system. So it's going to be awesome, and we're going to be done, and then we're going to drink a lot of whiskey and sleep a lot, and probably eat a lot of tacos too, because tacos are life.